here in Kenora, lots of telephone calls from Ottawa and from the lake, not just to get us to this point here today, but for the substantive dimensions of this process. He and his colleagues have done a lot of the work and have represented the Lake Woods Sustainability Foundation in an extraordinary way. And so, Todd, if you could come forward and give us some words on your response.
Thanks, Greg. And I think actually Joan Richardson and I were Greg's first visitors in Ottawa at his election.
Yeah.
And we brought him a copy of the Lake of the Woods book for his office, and we thought that improved the office tremendously. Thank you, Greg. And we're here really to celebrate a significant milestone in the future of the communities and the health and ecological integrity of this great watershed and this great lake, upon which those communities depend so significantly for their sustenance, for fisheries, for drinking water, and really for some of the spiritual values that Chief Konantz had talked about as well. Being here today, I'd really like to express our thanks to the countless people on both sides of the border and the government officials on both sides of the border that have contributed to making this happen. We appreciate particularly Minister Baird that you chose to come to Kenora and make this announcement in person, and I think that speaks volumes and assures us really of that you and the government of Canada get it, the significance of this lake and watershed. You know, it's the 6th largest transboundary lake in North America, and really is a main artery that flows from just about 15 miles from Lake Superior all the way through to Lake Winnipeg, delivering half the water to Lake Winnipeg, and then onwards to Hudson Bay. I'd also like to acknowledge the tremendous efforts of Member of Parliament Greg Rickford, the many mayors and councils along the way of Sioux Narrows, Nestor Falls, and the city of Kenora, and the counties in Minnesota, and the legislators in Minnesota, all who have championed this cause over the last many years. Also grateful to Chief Konantz for being my fellow stalker over the last year of travels around the watershed in Minnesota, Manitoba, and Ontario with the IJC task force. And also for Chief Konantz's words and reminders to all of us of the deep connection that her peoples have to the land and to the water, to nature, and really to the water in particular is sort of the lifeblood that sustains her communities. The reminder that we need to consider that it's of sustenance to other communities as well. We're here today with the Minister of Foreign Affairs, and all along this has been about the lake. And in that context, I'm struck that these affairs aren't very foreign at all. Along the way to this announcement, the people, communities, and governments and tribes and First Nations on both sides of the border, and also in the great state of Minnesota, have been as supportive and committed to making this happen as all of us are here today. And really, they're not foreign affairs at all, because really what I've seen over the last couple of years is a shared vision amongst all people around this lake in Minnesota, Ontario, Manitoba, and amongst the First Nations, as Chief Konantz spoke about it, the importance of this to all of our peoples for not only today, but for future generations to come. I said at the outset that it's a milestone, and it is a milestone along the way. However, this is not the end. As Heather Stephenson said to me before the announcement, she said it's a new chapter, and I think that's what it is. It's a new chapter for the lake and for the watershed and for all the communities that rely so heavily upon it. There's still much work to be done, and we at the Foundation will remain committed to working closely with the IJC Water Board and with all the participants and stakeholders that will assist that board and the government agencies as well, assisting with the studies, plans, and actions necessary to ensure that this lake and its benefits are sustained for generations to come. Now, the IJC has a long, long history on Lake of the Woods. I think one of the first references in 1909 was with respect to Lake of the Woods, and again its second reference in 1912 and 1959, and here we are today. And I think back when the Boundary Treaty was formed, it was recognized by both nations, both countries, that it was a model for international cooperation for preventing and resolving issues related to our shared waters. We're delighted that the governments on both sides of the border have accepted and made the IJC a model for part of our future as well, not just our history. Thank you very much.
Well, just in closing.